Last night, something shifted in the unseen, not loudly, not dramatically, but deeply. While you were sleeping, while the world was quiet, Allah was moving hearts, rewriting paths, and closing chapters that had already served their purpose. You may have felt it as restlessness, a strange calm, or a sense that something is no longer the same, even though nothing on the outside has changed. That feeling is not imagination. In Islam, Allah never changes destinies publicly before He changes them privately. He works in silence, first in hearts, in intentions, in the unseen. If you are watching this, it is not by chance. This message is not for everyone. Tonight, we're uncovering 7 powerful Islamic lessons about how Allah changes soulmates, delays what is written without denying it, and prepares hearts before He aligns lives. Listen carefully, because what Allah began last night may be the beginning of something you've been waiting for longer than you realize. 1. Allah changes hearts before He changes circumstances. In Islam, nothing meaningful begins on the outside. Every real change starts where no one is looking inside the heart. Before Allah changes a situation, before He moves people closer, before He opens a door you've been knocking on for years, He first reaches into the heart and reshapes it, because circumstances without purified hearts only create more pain. Allah is too merciful to give you something before you are ready to carry it. The Quran reminds us that guidance, love, sincerity, and repentance all begin in the heart. Allah does not force people into goodness. He turns their hearts toward it. And when Allah turns a heart, the person may not even understand why they suddenly feel different, only that something inside them is no longer the same. Your soulmate's future may have changed last night, not because an event happened, but because a heart softened. A heart that was once stubborn may have felt humility for the first time. A heart that was distracted may have felt emptiness. A heart that was closed may have felt longing not for a person, but for truth. This is how Allah prepares destinies. Sometimes Allah removes arrogance quietly. Sometimes He replaces restlessness with reflection. Sometimes He takes away certainty so that reliance on Him can grow. These inner shifts are invisible to the world, but they are powerful enough to redirect entire lives. You may wonder why nothing seems to change on the outside yet. Islam teaches us that inner change always comes first. The unseen movement must settle before the visible follows. Just as seeds grow in darkness before breaking through the soil, hearts must change in silence before destinies unfold in public. This is why Allah often works at night, when distractions fade, when the soul is exposed, when defenses are down. A single moment of sincerity in the heart is enough for Allah to begin rewriting what comes next. And here is the part many people struggle to accept. Allah may change your heart or your soulmate's heart without informing either of you. No signs, no conversations, no confirmation. Only a quiet realignment toward what is right. But once Allah changes a heart, nothing stays the same for long. What was once impossible begins to soften. What felt blocked begins to loosen. What was delayed begins to move. Not because people decided, but because Allah decided. So if you feel a strange calm, or an unexpected detachment, or a sudden sense that something has shifted even though you cannot explain it, do not ignore it. Islam teaches us to respect these moments. They are often the first signs that Allah has begun His work. Allah does not rush, He perfects. And when He changes a heart, He is preparing a future worthy of it. Trust that process. 2. What is written can be delayed but never lost. One of the most misunderstood ideas in life is delay. When something doesn't happen on your timeline, the heart assumes it has been taken away. But Islam teaches us something far deeper. What Allah has written for you cannot miss you. It can only arrive at its appointed time. Allah does not cancel destinies. He schedules them. A soulmate delayed is not a soulmate denied. A path paused is not a path erased. Often, Allah delays what we desire, not because it is wrong, but because it is not yet safe for us, or we are not yet safe for it. If something shifted last night, it may be because a period of delay finally ended. Delays in Islam are not empty waiting rooms, they are classrooms. Allah uses time to teach patience, humility, self-awareness, and reliance on Him alone. Without these lessons, even the most beautiful blessings become burdens. Sometimes Allah delays a union because one soul is still attached to something that would corrupt it. Sometimes He delays because pain still needs to mature into wisdom. And sometimes He delays simply because the dua has not yet reached its moment of acceptance. This is why rushing never helps. Forcing never works. Chasing only exhausts the heart. Allah knows the exact moment two lives can meet without destroying each other. Many people assume destiny is fragile, that one wrong move can ruin it forever. Islam teaches the opposite. Destiny is protected by Allah Himself. No human mistake, distance, misunderstanding, or silence can erase what Allah has decreed. But here is the truth few are prepared to hear. Delay is often mercy disguised as absence. If Allah gave you what you wanted too early, it might have harmed you. If He connected two hearts too soon, they may have broken each other. So Allah waits. He shapes. He removes what does not belong. He strengthens what remains. Last night may have been the moment when Allah decided the delay had served its purpose. The barrier you couldn't see may have been lifted. The lesson that needed time may have finally settled in the heart. And once a lesson is learned, Allah no longer keeps you waiting. Islam teaches us to trust timing more than emotion. Emotions want now. Faith accepts when. What is written for you is not lost in silence. It is being preserved in divine timing. And when Allah releases it, it arrives whole, not late, not damaged, not incomplete, but exactly as it was meant to be. Trust that delay is not rejection. It is preparation. 3. Allah works most when you let go. There is a moment in every believer's journey where effort turns into exhaustion. You try, you wait, you hope, you pray, and eventually something inside you becomes quiet. Islam teaches us that this quiet is not failure, it is surrender. True tawakkul begins where control ends. As long as you are gripping tightly, planning outcomes, replaying conversations, and imagining different endings, the heart is still trying to manage what only Allah can manage. And Allah, in His wisdom, often waits until the servant steps back before he steps forward. This is why some of the biggest changes in life happen after you stop chasing them. Letting go does not mean you stop caring. It means you stop interfering. It means you trust Allah enough to release the outcome, knowing that whatever He chooses will be better than what you could design. When you finally let go, something powerful happens. Your heart becomes light. And a light heart is a heart Allah can work with. Last night may have been significant because it may have been the moment you stopped forcing something you were never meant to carry alone. Perhaps you stopped checking. Perhaps you stopped waiting for signs. Perhaps you whispered, "Ya Allah, I leave this to you," and meant it. That moment is not small in the sight of Allah. Islam teaches us that Allah responds to sincerity more than effort. A single moment of genuine surrender outweighs years of anxious planning. When you let go, Allah begins rearranging quietly. He moves hearts without announcements. He shifts paths without noise. He opens doors without needing your permission. And here is the paradox of faith. When you stop trying to make something happen, Allah often makes it happen if it is good for you. If it is not good, He replaces it with peace. Letting go is not losing control. It is choosing Allah's control. So if something inside you softened last night, if the urgency faded, if the desperation dissolved into calm, that may have been the sign that Allah accepted your surrender. And once Allah takes over, nothing unfolds randomly. Everything moves with purpose. 4. Pain is often the final preparation. In Islam, pain is never meaningless. It is never random, and it is never wasted. Before Allah grants a major blessing, He often allows a period of discomfort that reshapes the soul, not to break it, but to refine it. What feels like loss is often removal. What feels like confusion is often cleansing. And what feels like pain is very often the last stage before clarity. Allah does not prepare hearts with ease alone. Ease makes us comfortable, but pain makes us conscious. Through pain, Allah removes illusions, false attachments, and emotional dependencies that would poison a future blessing if left untouched. Many people think pain means something has gone wrong. Islam teaches the opposite. Pain often means something is being corrected. When a heart aches, it becomes honest. When certainty is shaken, arrogance weakens. When expectations collapse, reliance on Allah strengthens. These are not punishments, they are preparations. If you have felt emotional heaviness, confusion, or a sense of emptiness, understand this clearly. Allah may have been loosening what you held too tightly. Sometimes Allah has to empty the heart before He can fill it with something pure. And this emptying hurts. It hurts because we attach meaning to people, plans, and timelines. We believe they define us. So when Allah removes them, the heart resists. But Allah knows what we do not. A heart cluttered with fear, resentment, or unrealistic expectations cannot carry the weight of a righteous connection. Pain strips the heart down to truth. It removes the fantasy version of love and replaces it with something deeper. Patience, accountability, emotional maturity, and sincerity. These qualities cannot be taught through comfort. They are forged through endurance. Islam shows us that even the prophets endured pain before relief, separation before reunion, waiting before fulfillment, testing before honor. This pattern is divine, not accidental. If last night felt heavy, or if you woke up feeling different without knowing why, it may have been because a phase quietly ended. Pain often reaches its peak right before it releases its grip. Allah knows the exact amount of pain a heart can handle. He does not allow it to exceed its capacity. And when its purpose is fulfilled, Allah removes it gently, often without explanation. This is why sometimes pain fades without closure. The lesson has been learned. The heart has been reshaped. The preparation is complete. Many people ask Allah for blessings without realizing that blessings require space. Space in the heart, space in the soul, space in priorities. Pain creates that space. If Allah is preparing a future that involves another soul, He must first ensure that your heart can carry love without worshipping it, attachment without dependency, and connection without losing itself. Pain humbles, it softens, it purifies, and once it has done its work, Allah does not prolong it unnecessarily. If you are still standing, still believing, still turning toward Allah despite the ache, understand this. You are closer than you think. Pain is not the end of the story. It is often the final page before a new chapter begins. Trust Allah's wisdom in the pain. 5. Allah aligns souls only when intentions are pure. In Islam, nothing meaningful aligns by accident, especially not hearts. Allah does not bring two souls together simply because they desire each other. Desire alone is unstable. It fluctuates, it demands, it consumes. What Allah aligns must be able to endure, and endurance requires purity of intention. Intentions are the unseen foundation of every relationship. They shape how love is expressed, how conflict is handled, and how sacrifice is understood. If intentions are unclear, selfish, or rooted in fear, even a halal connection becomes heavy. This is why Allah often delays alignment until intentions are corrected. Many people believe they are ready for companionship, but their hearts are still seeking validation, healing, or escape. Allah, in His mercy, does not allow another soul to become a bandage for wounds that only faith can heal. Before Allah aligns two souls, He examines why they are being sought. Is it to fill loneliness, or to build something righteous? Is it to be completed, or to complement? Is it to be chosen, or to choose goodness together? These questions matter in the sight of Allah. Purification of intention often happens quietly. Allah removes distractions. He distances people who were never meant to stay. He allows periods of solitude where the heart must confront itself honestly. And in that solitude, intentions are either clarified or exposed. This process can feel uncomfortable because it strips away emotional illusions. What remains is sincerity, or the realization that sincerity still needs work. If something shifted last night, it may have been because an intention finally became clear. Perhaps a heart released control. Perhaps expectations softened. Perhaps the desire changed from possession to protection, from urgency to patience. When intention becomes pure, alignment becomes safe. Islam teaches us that Allah protects His servants from relationships that would harm their faith, even if the heart wants them. That protection sometimes looks like distance, delay, or confusion, until intentions are corrected. Once intentions align with what pleases Allah, doors open naturally. There is less struggle, less forcing, less anxiety. What once felt impossible begins to feel calm. This is not coincidence. It is divine alignment. Allah does not unite souls to distract them from Him. He unites them to remind them of Him. A relationship that draws you closer to Allah is a gift. One that pulls you away is a test. If Allah is realigning paths now, it is because something inside has shifted towards sincerity. When intentions are pure, love becomes light. When intentions are sincere, patience becomes easy. And when intentions are aligned with Allah, the future becomes safe. Trust that Allah is not withholding. He is refining. And when refinement is complete, alignment follows. 6. Dua works even when you stop asking. One of the quiet miracles in Islam is this: a dua does not expire. Many people believe that if they stop asking, stop crying, or stop repeating the same prayer, it means the door has closed. But Islam teaches us something far more comforting. A sincere dua continues working even after your lips fall silent. Allah hears every supplication the moment it leaves the heart. Some are answered immediately, some are delayed, and some are stored until the exact moment they are meant to transform a life. Dua is not a transaction that ends when you stop requesting. It is a seed that continues to grow in the unseen. There are duas you made when your faith was raw, when your tears were heavy, when your hope felt fragile. You may not remember the exact words anymore, but Allah does. He does not forget a single breath taken in sincerity. If something shifted last night, it may have been because a forgotten dua finally reached its appointed time. Islam teaches us that Allah answers in 3 ways. He gives what you ask for, He delays it for something better, or He removes a harm you never saw coming. All 3 are answers. None of them are rejection. Sometimes Allah waits to answer a dua until you are no longer desperate, because desperation can distort blessings. When the heart learns contentment, the answer becomes safe to receive. This is why some prayers are answered only after you have surrendered the outcome, not because Allah wanted you to suffer, but because He wanted you to trust. Dua also works across time and distance. A prayer you made years ago can affect a heart you are not speaking to today. Allah is not limited by space, silence, or circumstances. He reaches hearts in ways no message ever could. Many people stop making dua because they assume silence means refusal. Islam teaches us that silence often means preparation. Allah prepares you to receive the answer. Allah prepares the other heart to respond. Allah prepares the path so the answer does not harm either soul. And when all of that is ready, the answer arrives quietly, perfectly, without drama. You may wake up feeling different, lighter, less attached, more trusting. That itself may be the sign that your dua has been accepted in a form better than you imagined. Never underestimate the power of a prayer you once made sincerely. It may still be shaping futures in ways you cannot yet see. Dua does not need repetition to be remembered. It only needs sincerity to be answered. Trust Allah's timing. 7. Allah writes love stories that lead to Jannah. In Islam, love is not the destination. It is the path. Allah does not bring two souls together merely to satisfy emotion or desire. He writes connections that shape character, strengthen faith, and ultimately guide hearts toward Him. Any love that distracts from Allah is not a gift, it is a test. This is why Allah is so precise with who enters your life. A soulmate in Islam is not someone who completes you. You are already complete as a servant of Allah. A soulmate is someone who walks beside you in obedience, reminds you when you forget, and helps you stand firm when faith feels heavy. Allah designs love to be a means of elevation, not attachment. If Allah is rewriting a destiny, it is not to create a dramatic romance, but a righteous journey, one that includes patience, accountability, mercy, and growth. These are not the qualities of fantasy, they are the foundations of a love that survives both dunya and akhirah. Many people pray for companionship without realizing the weight of that prayer. To be joined with another soul is to be trusted with their iman, their heart, and their akhirah. Allah does not hand this trust lightly. This is why some connections are delayed until both hearts are capable of carrying responsibility, not just emotion. Love in Islam is meant to be a reminder of Allah, a relationship that brings peace, not chaos, support, not dependency, growth, not distraction. If something changed last night, it may be because Allah shifted the direction of a love story away from illusion and toward purpose. Sometimes Allah removes a connection that would have remained stuck in dunya. Sometimes He redirects two paths so that when they meet with clarity and intention. And sometimes He allows longing to exist, not to torment, but to refine the heart. Longing teaches patience. Waiting teaches trust, and trust leads to reward. Allah writes love stories that continue beyond this world, stories that do not end at happiness, but at Jannah. If Allah is arranging something now, trust Him. He is not denying love, He is protecting it. The most beautiful unions are not rushed. They are written with wisdom, sealed with patience, and guided by faith. Leave the ending to Allah. He writes better than we ever could. If this message stayed with you, don't rush past it. Sometimes Allah speaks not through events, but through recognition, a quiet knowing in the heart that something has shifted. You don't need to chase clarity. You don't need to force answers. And you don't need to control what Allah has already taken into His care. What was written for you is still written. What was delayed was never denied. And what Allah is preparing will arrive with peace, not anxiety. If Allah changed something last night, it was not to confuse you, it was to protect you. not to take away but to redirect toward what is better for your faith, your heart, and your akhirah. Leave the timing to Allah, leave the outcome to Allah, and keep your heart facing Him. Because when Allah writes a love story, He writes it with wisdom, and He always leads it toward goodness. Trust Him. He has never failed you.